Hi there, thank you so much for joining me today. This video is about 10 products that I wish brands would either bring back or make permanent. This video idea has been floating around and gaining popularity for probably a little over a year now, so I will have as many videos like this linked in the description box as I can, and I finally feel like I have enough examples to make a video of my own. 5 of the products I actually have on me physically so I can show you what they look like in person, and the other 4 or 5 I don't have, so I will just have pictures inserted instead. I'm doing this video, number one, because it's just kind of fun to talk about products that don't get talked about a lot because they're no longer available, and also I'm asking for recommendations. If you have any dupes for these products, please let a girl know. But without any further ado, let's get going with number 1. The first product I want to talk about is the Pure Cosmetics Glow Together Bronzer. This is a massive bronzer. It's 17 grams. It has just a regular plain brown packaging, but on the inside it has kind of like a waved pattern, which is really pretty. Probably a little bit harder to tell on camera, but 3 of the stripes are matte and the other 3 have a little bit of a sheen to them. They're not shimmery like an eyeshadow, they just have just enough glow to be appropriate for a face product, and it's really nice to mix these together and put them on. It's very creamy and buttery and very easy to blend, very easy to build up. It looks really nice and natural on the skin. I think full price this is like $34, but you can get Pure Cosmetics at Ulta for 20% off, so for 17 grams of product, it's actually a pretty good deal. I think it was a part of their summer collection a few years ago. It was only available for a short time, and while it was out, people talked about how nice it was for a long time, and then it just disappeared, and I haven't heard about it since, but I still think it's really nice, especially in the summertime. I wish someone would bring out a product like this, or Pure could just bring this back, because I think that this would be a lot of people's favorite bronzer. Got another bronzer here, this time from Bare Minerals. It is the Invisible Bronze Powder Bronzer. I have the shade Fair to Light. This might still be available in a few choice places, but I'm under the impression that this is being discontinued, and I don't know why, because for a lot of people this is their favorite bronzer, especially if you are someone who's very fair and have trouble finding bronzers that still bronze your skin without being too heavy or adding too much of a tan. If you can see, it also has a natural baked sheen to it as well, very similar to the Hourglass powders. It also doesn't pull too warm or too orange. I would say it's a pretty neutral bronze color, just enough to add some warmth without being too orange or yellow. I don't understand why this isn't a permanent part of their collection. I think it's beautiful and it's a great formula, and I know a lot of people who are going to be very sad when this is no longer available. Another one here, I think is still technically available on the brand's website, but I'm having trouble finding it anywhere else. It's the ABH Sultry Palette. Multiple times I've used this around friends, like at a bachelorette weekend or doing some wedding makeup, and all the girls are like, oh my god, I love that palette, I wish I could get that. These are colors that are right up my alley. And I have to tell them like, hey, if you want it, you should probably get it now, because it is something that's not readily available anymore and might be discontinued. I think it's a limited edition palette. I think most of these colors are incredibly wearable, especially for people who aren't super into makeup and only wear a few different shades. They like to wear just one shadow all over the lid. I like the different types of shimmers. They're all relatively wearable in my opinion. It does have that pop of pink, but there's really nothing too outrageous or odd that your regular makeup beginner wouldn't be able to handle. And it has the regular Anastasia Beverly Hills formula, so you know it's really nice and blendable. And I just think that this would have a really nice place among the ABH palette collection. I hope Anastasia Beverly Hills listens to people and makes this a part of their permanent collection. I have another palette here. It's from Tarte. It's the Make Believe in Yourself palette. I only recently was able to get my hands on this. I think I was on a no-buy whenever it first came out, so I couldn't pick it up, and then it was gone by the time I had a chance to go and get it. But recently, Tarte was having a really big sale on their website, and this was like more than half off. So I got this, including shipping and everything, for like $19, which I think full price it's in the $30 range. Normally I'm not a fan of palettes that have weird shapes in their eyeshadows, but I think this is good. I think it's cute. I love the packaging. The metal packaging might be making it harder to see the true color, but it's just a bunch of shimmery shades. There is one matte shade right here, Myth. It's kind of like a purpley mauve shade. This middle shade right here, I don't know if that's technically an eyeshadow or a face highlighter. It's just okay. It's not the most exciting highlighter in the world, but all the other eyeshadow shades perform beautifully. I love the different types of colors. You have blues and purples. You have a really light mint green. You have a copper. You have a couple different bronzes and pinks. If you have an eye makeup look and you just want to kick it up a notch, you can add any of these shades and it'll instantly transform it. And sometimes it's just nice to have a bunch of shimmery options in different colors so that you can play around and change up your looks a little bit. It's nice and compact. I like the packaging, I like the front of it a lot, and it just feels very nice. It's like weighted and it just feels very luxurious, and I'm just so glad I was able to get my hands on it. I wish Tarte would make this permanent. My next product is a highlighter from Becca. It's the Berlin Girl Glow Highlighter, and this was made in collaboration with Hattie Schmidt. Hashtag Team Hattie never stops. Number one, it has gorgeous, gorgeous silver packaging, but also the color is probably one of the most unique highlighters I have ever tried. It has a little bit of a beige base, and then the reflect is a really, really light and natural looking kind of purple, blue, pink type of shift, and it's just so gorgeous. I've heard people refer to this as a cool toned highlighter that isn't icy. It's got enough depth to it that it doesn't look like straight silver on your face. I know it's harder for some people in other countries to get their hands on it, but whenever people do end up getting it, they rave about it, and for good reason. I did purchase a pack of this, which I don't typically do that, but this was kind of something that I was willing to make an exception for. And I do hope that Becca goes the way of champagne pop and decides to make this permanent. My next one I technically have the packaging for, but the product is all used up. It's from Becca again, and it's the Perfect Skin Mineral Powder Foundation. I was in the shade Shell, and it was the perfect match for me. It's all used up. I don't even know why I still have the packaging. I used this up like over a year ago. There was a really great shade range in this line, and Shell fit me perfectly. Something about the formula was really natural, and it did give enough coverage to even out your skin tone, but it just never looked too heavy. You could pile layer on after layer with this product, and it wouldn't ever look dry or cakey on your skin. And it also was really nice if you were coming home from work and your makeup just needed a little bit of touch up. This would work perfectly on top of pretty much any foundation that I was wearing and just kind of bring it back to life once again without caking up. I have yet to find this type of formula in any other powder, and I wish I had savored it a little bit more while I had it. I didn't realize it was discontinued at that time. Sometimes I see this popping up on Haute Look or on other websites like that. I purchased from that website before and everything I've ever bought was fine, but thinking about how long ago this was discontinued, whatever product like this I find on the internet, it's probably several years old, so I'm just gonna hold off. If anyone knows of a formula dupe for this powder that's available right now, please let me know. I would be very grateful to any suggestions that you have. Becca does have a powder product that's similar to it. I don't remember what it's called, but it's not the same. It's not the same formula, and I don't think it's technically a powder foundation, so it doesn't count. I don't know why Becca decided to stop making this. The next 4 products I'm going to talk about are a little bit different because they're not ones that I've actually tried myself. I didn't purchase them when they were available and now it's too late, so I can't give you a review based on how I like it. I can only base it on reviews that I've heard from people that I trust. The first product is back to Anastasia Beverly Hills. It is their highlighters. I don't remember what they're called, but I will have some photos in the corner. There was one in the shade So Hollywood. I think that one was a little bit too gold for my skin tone, but there was one, I'm pretty sure it was called Starlight. It was a little bit more of like a pinky lighter shade, and I would have loved to try that. From what I heard, it seemed like the formula was kind of like a Bake Chalet formula, which is something that I really love in a highlighter. And I just loved the packaging. I loved the pattern that it had on the highlighter. I think it looked really pretty, and I just wish I had a chance to try it. In the grand scheme of things, it's not the end of the world that I never got a chance to try it, but I'm just not sure why ABH decided to stop selling those. I imagine if they were a permanent part of the collection, people would still be talking about how great they are. The next one is from Bare Minerals. It's pretty much any of their large eyeshadow palettes. They've kind of toned down their eyeshadow selection. They do have some smaller palettes of like 6 shadows, I believe, and they're all relatively neutral. But a while ago, they had a ton of palettes and a ton of large and medium-sized palette options. And I remember swatching them when I worked at Ulta and really loving it, but never really going out of my way to purchase any of the palettes. But now that they're no longer available, I'm kind of kicking myself for it. I hear Kitsch Snitch talking about them and how beautiful they are, and it does seem like they come out with holiday palettes every year, so hopefully I can get my hands on one during the holidays. But I always just heard how amazing and buttery and pigmented the formula was, how both the mattes and the shimmers performed so nicely, and how it was kind of an underrated product, and I wish I had just taken the chance to try them whenever they were still available. I just didn't know that they were going to be all removed from the market so quickly. I have another palette here. I don't feel as strongly about it as I do the Bare Minerals palettes. It is the BH Cosmetics Royal Affair palette. Now there isn't anything super special about this palette. Now granted, I have heard pretty mixed reviews about the actual quality of the formula of the eyeshadows, but there's just still something that makes me want it. I think it's just super affordable, but it has really cute packaging, kind of has like a prismy crystal type of packaging on the outside. And then on the right side, there is a really cool mix of pinks and purples and greens. Something about that color story just seems really interesting to me, and I think I could create a lot of really pretty looks with it. And it's the first BH Cosmetics palette that's really spoken to me, and by the time I found out about it, it had already been discontinued. But yeah, I'm sure I could recreate a lot of those color combinations on my own, even with some of the singles that I already have. But still, I think there's always going to be a part of me that wishes I had picked it up when it was available. And the very last one I want to talk about is once again from Becca. I have 3 different Becca products alone in this list. It was the products that were in a compact, but when you opened it, it was half blush and half highlighter. The Becca blushes are really hard to use up, so it's not like I need a full-size blush anyway. And they were large enough that you could still fit a brush in both products independently, but it was nice that they were kind of just in more of a compact packaging, probably really nice for travel. And there was one in particular where it was like a really bright pinky coral blush with a light gold highlighter. I really liked the combo of that, and also the outside packaging was really pretty. It was like a metallic type of packaging, and I don't know why I didn't pick it up at the time. I guess I just didn't realize that they were going to be harder to get your hands on. I'm sure there are a lot of options like that out there already, so it's not like I'm left wanting and I severely regret not purchasing it. It's just something that I look back and realize it was so pretty and I wish I had it in my collection. So those are all the products I have to talk about. Let me know if there are any discontinued or limited edition products that you wish would either be brought back or made permanent. I'd love to hear what your answers are. And like I said before, if you have any ideas for dupes of these products that are available now, I would be very appreciative to know what they are. Someone mentioned in the comments a while ago of a brand should come out with cruelty-free dupes for products that are no longer available, and I think that would be so smart. I definitely think there's a market for that. But in the meantime, that's everything I have. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!